I'd like to introduce you to our hosts, independent journalists Joy Reid and Katie Fang. And while they come to the stage, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being brave, and I want to thank you for being a part of building the America we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Hello there.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Are you guys excited to be here?
Let's hear it.
And not in there?
That's right.
Come on, I am Joy Reid, host of The Joy Reid Show.
And I'm Katie Fang, host of the Katie Fang News Channel.
And we are both exes of the artist formerly known as MSNBC. We are so excited to be here. Please give one more round of applause to these
members of Congress.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
They had the courage to not be here. So, Katie, the reason that I am so excited to be here is that, as we just heard from the wonderful folks at Move On and Midas Touch, please give them a round of applause.
Please.
It takes courage to stand out.
It does. And look, if you turn around and you look amongst us, it's not just the people that are here. It's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in the United States and across the world that are defending democracy, but they need the courage and the bravery of our members of Congress and our electeds to make sure that democracy is defended.
Indeed. And so tonight we are not going to hear a false state of the union. We are going to hear the true state of our union from the people who are being impacted by the policies that are taking place at the hands of someone who has demonstrated no love for the Constitution, for the truth, or for the care and concern of the American people. It's much more important to hear what people are truly facing and going through. That's what you're going to hear tonight.
The American people deserve the truth. They do not need more lies from this regime. So tonight, you are going to hear people that have been impacted directly by the bullshit of this administration.
Amen. And because I'm also a church girl.
Sorry, Joy, for my language.
Oh, no. I'm a cussing Christian, sis. It's all good. I'm a cussing Christian. But we want to start off this night by doing something that I think is so important, Katie.
Please.
And that is reclaiming the Christian voice from white Christian nationalism.
That's right.
Which not only threatens our freedom, but also threatens a very important faith throughout this world. Christianity is not what you have been sold by Project 2025. So right now, to do our invocation, meaning we're going to invoke the spirit of freedom, liberty, and justice, please put your hands together for the Reverend Paul Brandeis Rauschenbusch.
Thank you, Joy and Katie. Hello, everybody. Hello, America. Let me start by saying that my soul is so glad to be here with the People's State of the Union. I come to you as the president of Interfaith Alliance and as a Baptist minister with good news. We, the people, have the power. Is that good news? All across America, people of diverse faiths and beliefs are showing up, are speaking out, and are proving that love for our neighbors and commitment to our democracy will prevail against the cruelty, immorality, and authoritarianism of this administration. Let me speak plainly as an American and as a Baptist minister. The Trump administration is the most hostile to religious freedom in generations. They attack any religious leader or community not in lockstep with their political agenda. The White House, the Pentagon, the Department of Justice, and ICE have weaponized religion for their white Christian nationalist crusade. which attempts to define who is a true American, conveniently made in their own image, and relegate all the rest of us to second-class status. While President Lincoln famously prayed to be on God's side, Trump instead blasphemously boasts that God is in fact on his side. In Trump's mind, God is little more than a divine mascot for his political team. But enough about that unpopular man. Tonight, we will focus and celebrate the people of America. Tonight, we will recognize all those to whom harm has been done. But we will also give thanks for the brave witness of the faith and community leaders in Minnesota, in Chicago, in Charlotte, in Portland, and here in Washington, D.C., and in towns large and small everywhere across America who are standing up against the abuse and inhumanity of ICE. We give thanks for every single person around this country who has put their faith or values into action by resisting government-sanctioned cruelty with moral courage and solidarity with our neighbors from every background. We give thanks to God for the power and the promise of love and what Dr. King called the beloved community that is both coming and present now if we choose to make it real in our democracy. I believe we are in the midst of the next great awakening in America, a spiritual movement dedicated to creating a nation where every person has dignity and value, where every community and faith tradition is treated equally, and nobody gets left behind this time. We, the people, have the power out of many through love. May we be one. My friends, the spiritual state of our union is strong. So help us, God. Amen.
Y'all should be well in the spirit at this point. Is everybody in the spirit? That's what I'm talking about. That's right. We're going to call the spirit of our ancestors to make sure that we do justice on tonight. And we are going to start with one of the true fighters in the United States Senate and his very important guest. So please put your hands together for Senator Chris Murphy and
CHEWSDAY Ganjavi.
Thank you.
Good evening, America. I want you first to give a big round of applause to my guest, refugee and immigrant advocate from Connecticut, CHEWSDAY Ganjavi. Speech tonight because Donald Trump is making a mockery of this great institution, and he doesn't deserve an audience. I'm not at the State of the Union speech tonight because these are not normal times, and Democrats have to stop behaving normally. And I'm not at the State of the Union speech tonight because you're not going to hear about the State of the Union. You are going to hear lie after lie. You are going to hear attack after attack. You are going to see grandstanding. The true State of the Union is this. This union is in crisis right now. By lawless law enforcement. Our democracy is wilting under ceaseless attack from a president who wants to be a despot. Millions of Americans are losing their health care because the president has chosen corruption to pad the pockets of his billionaire friends instead of helping average Americans. You're not going to hear any of that in that speech tonight. But by being here for the people's State of the Union, you are going to hear the real story of America, a story of an America that is under siege but a story of America that is not going to take it, that is going to fight back, and is going to reclaim this country for everything that is good and right about the United States of America. CHEWSDAY is going to talk to you tonight about the state of immigrant and refugee America. ICE is out of control. It is disappearing legal immigrants. It is tear-gassing elementary schools. It is murdering American citizens. Right now, as you know, the Department of Homeland Security is shut down. And I just want to be very clear with you about my position, and I think the position of many others who will stand on this stage tonight. Not one more dime for the Department of Homeland Security until they start following the law in this country. CHEWSDAY came to this country over a decade ago, coming to the United States from a refugee camp. She told me just off stage that this is the moment. This is the reason that she came here to the United States, to speak truth to power, to explain the trials and tribulations that every immigrant, that every refugee goes through to get here, and to press this country to...
Stuck in the border! I stuck in the border. Go Trump! Go Trump!
All right, thanks, man. Thanks, buddy. Listen, guys. CHEWSDAY is here to lift us up to a common purpose and to a common goal, to understand the best of lies in how we treat those who have arrived to this country fleeing terror and torture and desperation. We have work to do, guys. We have a mission that we have to complete. And I want you to welcome to the podium my friend, CHEWSDAY.
Good evening, everyone. Since arriving in the United States as a refugee in 2011, I have educated more than 7,000 refugees, especially when those now thriving as educator, health worker, and essential service providers, becoming a lighthouse for others. Part with over 100 universities across the country, and help young students launch career in embassies, public services, leadership programs, and enter to the top medical and law schools. For years, I advocated for immigration rights. I founded Elena's Light, an organization to support families in Connecticut. And I'm proud of work over the years that we did. Thank you. I'm here today, now standing next to my favorite senator, Senator Murphy, to speak with the voice I'm so proud of. Since the recent election, my phone has not stopped ringing. Mothers have called me asking if it is safe to go to my child's appointment. Women have asked if they should cancel English classes. Afghan families and many immigrant families are confused about their legal status and afraid to travel for work, even within their own states. Fear is not abstract. It is in our classrooms. It is in our clinics. It is in our homes. Families feel unstable. We are living in uncertain society these days. Because of this, advocacy in Connecticut has shifted. Organizations on the ground like ours are spending more time on Know Your Rights training. Policies are shifted quickly, and we
Stop chat.
must help families with rapid response needs. Preparing families with documentation for when their family members get kidnapped. And working closely with legal and health partners to support families struggling after Trump's healthcare cuts. But as hard as we try, we cannot replace health insurance. That our elderly, our children, our people with disability
Day of the Unions in a minute.
get access. We cannot guarantee safety or peace of mind for the worker who keep our communities running every day.
I'll be watching it. I gotta find it. Where is it?
To stop.
My hair's not doing anything good today. All right.
Separating families. Mothers, kids, and our future generation who will become our caretaker, our lawyers, our teachers, and our politicians. Our community member needs safety and peace of mind to work. Leadership matters at the federal levels. We need real leaders. We need a stable federal support.
Agreed. Can hear him. I can hear the president. Here we go, folks. All right. Go ahead and
Peter Mandelson, the former British. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. In the United Kingdom, authorities arrested, then released Peter Mandelson, the former British ambassador to the United States, over allegations he'd passed confidential government information to the late convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein. The London Metropolitan Police had started its investigation into Mandelson earlier this month and said it had arrested him, quote, on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Mandelson's arrest comes just days after former Prince Andrew was arrested for the same offense. Mandelson served as a government minister between 1997 and 2001, again from 2008 to 2010, fired from his diplomatic post in September last year as more information about his relationship with Epstein was released. There are now growing calls for British Prime Minister Keir Starmer to resign, since Starmer tapped Mandelson to be Britain's top U.S. envoy. This is Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch.
This is the defining moment of Keir Starmer's premiership. Watching the man who he appointed to the highest position in our diplomatic service getting arrested by police, I think, is an image that's going to stay with all of us for many, many years to come. And when people think about Keir Starmer and his premiership, they will see the arrest of Peter Mandelson
Fucking
as the
libs.
defining moment.
Get him the fuck out, mate.
Has hired an outside law firm to conduct an independent investigation into communications between the college's longtime president, Leon Botstein, and the late convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein. The release of the Epstein files reveals Botstein traveled to Epstein's Island in 2012 and 2013.
Botstein, huh?
The barred president wrote
It's
to
Bot and
Epstein,
Ep.
quote, "I greatly cherish this new friendship. I have real admiration for how you go about doing things."
Yeah.
Peter
Botstein.
Attia, a CBS News contributor and longevity influencer, has resigned from his post as his emails with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein were released to the public. Attia was recruited and hired by CBS's new editor-in-chief, Barry Weiss, in January, just days before the release of the Epstein files. In the emails, Attia provided medical advice and arranged testing for Epstein. In an email sent to Epstein in June 2015, Attia wrote, quote, "You know, the biggest problem..."
I love it. This is awesome. This is
Okay.
great television.
Man,
okay, good.
I think we're ready.
Good. I think. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm sorry.
You can't take him anywhere.
We're already.
Honestly, we're already off the rails.
We're already
3 seconds.
Exactly.
They said, Van, you're supposed to start the live cast.
I am Van Jones. I'm here with Scott Jennings. This is the first ever, as you can tell, the first ever CNN live cast for the State of the Union. We got protesters outside. We've got political pros on the inside. We've got military families. We've got all kinds of people. But most importantly, we get a chance to have a conversation not in Washington, D.C., but here at Ground Zero, the heart of the heartland in America, Saginaw, Michigan.
Yeah,
With
it's
Scott
gonna be,
Jennings?
An interesting conversation
Fuck
tonight.
Saginaw,
We're gonna talk
Michigan.
to these 10 voters that we have collected. We have people that are more Republican
Saginaw.
or Democrat. We have a couple of independents here as well.
I've been
And,
there.
We're in a swing area of a swing state.
Yeah.
This area has bounced back and forth. Michigan has bounced back and forth. And we've been pre-gaming the State of the Union here just a little bit, and I don't think we're going to have any trouble getting into some deep opinions here.
In fact, I want to. There's a test here in Saginaw that some might call the Myers test, and I want to start with you. Can you explain to people what is the Myers test? What is Myers, and what?
Myers is a store.
And how is Trump possibly failing the Myers test in your life?
Well, he's failing the Myers test in my life because my ends are not meeting. I'm having a really hard time. Meyer is similar to a Walmart, but it's more in Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky.
We have Meyer in Louisville.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah.
You do. You do.
So you said something about your ends?
My ends are not meeting. I'm having a very hard time because the prices keep going up and my income is steady. So my income is not going up. My utility bills are going up. My water bill is going up. Everything is going up, but my income ain't going up.
And do you blame Trump for that, or do you blame Biden for that?
No, I blame Trump.
Why?
Because when Biden was in office, my ends were meeting very, very well. I could go on vacation if I wanted to.
Despite all that Biden inflation?
Yes, despite Biden inflation, yes. Now with Trump, I can't afford to live. And Saginaw has a low cost of living compared to other parts of the country, and my ends are not meeting, and I'm living in a modest area.
My last question to you is, you said something to me about your energy bill.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about what these coal snaps have meant for ratepayers here in Michigan, because I think people may not be aware, these cold winters are doing a number on folks up here.
Yes, they are, because what happens is that we have to have heat. So we can't conserve our heat. So your energy bills are going to go up. Also, because of the cold weather, you sometimes have to run your water because you don't want your pipes to freeze. So therefore, my water bill has gone up as well.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you guys a question, and I'll throw it open for anybody. We're here, obviously, tonight to watch the State of the Union. Do you normally watch this speech? Is this something that you normally would sit down and watch the entire thing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and how much of the speech, sticks with you? I mean, are you looking for the president, any president, to give you an explanation of what's been going on, or are you looking for more of a forward-looking plan about what he plans to do for the next year? Let's start down here.
Good question. I kind of take it as what's been going on. Are you confident with the state of the economy, state of the union? And I need laid out steps on how we're going to accomplish whatever it is that you have planned for.
Okay, so you're looking for more something affirmative to deal with issues going on in the country. What about you, sir?
I'm really interested in seeing where we're going. We know where we are and we know where we've been, but where are we going? Where is our leadership taking us? And it's important that, I have over 40 employees and I'm concerned about my employees, their well-being. And so I want to know where we're going. I want to plan for the future, not only for me and my family, but for my employees and their families.
Yeah, you have a towing company. Your company's been in business for over 70 years, and it's a family business. Maybe talk to us a little bit about, how things are going for family businesses right now. What's going well, and what are the things that keep you up at night?
Well, for us, one of our biggest costs, employee wages, account for about over 50% of our gross. Then the next is insurance. And our insurance goes up 10 to 15% every year. Our health insurance, I looked up the actual number. Last year it went up 14.77. This year I just got my renewal for May 1, and they said, congratulations, your insurance is only going up 15.12%.
Does it feel like your insurance is getting 15% better?
No.
Isn't that how it works?
Yeah. and that's the worst part of it, is that not only is the insurance going up 15.12%, but they're taking our deductibles from a $2,000, $4,000 to a $25,000, $5,000. So all my employees are going to pay higher deductibles. In addition, we're going to pay higher insurance costs.
But tonight, Trump is going to talk. Is it easier for you to be a boss now that Trump is there, or is it harder?
It's harder because there's pressure from my employees for more money. And unless we raise our rates to our customers, and we're in an economically depressed area, it's hard. And so, I'm always running this delicate balance of how do I take care of my employees and deliver good wages and benefits, and also take care of our customers and our community.
Well, so when Trump gets out there tonight, are you looking at him as a friend that just hasn't delivered enough yet, or are you looking at him as an opponent that's making it harder for you? How are you looking at this guy tonight?
I'm looking more as, I would say neither.
Okay.
And part of the reason for that is I haven't seen leadership. The tariffs have really hurt us. Trucks that I bought in 2022, 2023, I was paying $105,000 for a tow truck. This year, if I order the exact same model, exact same features, I'm paying $140,000, $150,000 for the same truck. So that truck's gone up almost 40%. And the back part of it is made in Tennessee. The engine's made in Ohio, transmission's made in Indiana, but it's assembled in Mexico. So we're getting hit with a tariff on the chassis, and then we're getting hit with some of the tariff on the steel. So it really affects us negatively in terms of what we can reinvest and what we can do.
I want to talk to someone who's sitting right behind me. I don't want to leave Luke out of the conversation. Luke, I believe you're our youngest voter here, and I think your vote in the 24 presidential election, that was your first presidential election. Maybe tell us a little bit about who you voted for in 24, and are you satisfied with that vote?
Yeah, I voted for President Trump in the first election, and I guess I kind of have mixed feelings. There's some things that he's doing well, but there's also other things that he's not doing so well on. I think he did a great job at closing the border, maybe not necessarily the handling of some of the immigrants that are currently in the country, but he did a good job, I think, on actually shutting down the border, making sure no new ones come in, or at least not illegally.
Luke, let me ask you a question about how you're consuming political information, how you take in information about the health of the country. We're hearing that the president may speak for maybe 2 or more hours tonight. We don't know how long he's going to speak. I mean, it's a long speech for anybody to watch, but for people in your age cohort, how do you think they are most likely to consume, if they consume it at all, the president's remarks tonight? I assume it's going to be some form of small chunks they get in their social media feeds.
I think that's exactly right, Scott. I think most of my kids my age are not going to watch it live. I couldn't tell you. I have a couple of friends that are kind of into politics, but that might watch it, but most of my friends would probably just consume it on TikTok.
Yeah. If you had one piece of advice to give the president, one thing that he needs to say that would tell you he's got us on the right track, what would it be?
I would like to hear him talk about the economy for sure, and kind of for kids my age, probably stuff about housing. When I graduate, I hope to buy a home, and so right now it's just ridiculous. I don't think I'd be able to, it would take years for me to save up the amount of money I would need to buy a house now.
Yeah, I think housing is going to be, my anticipation is it's going to be a chunk of the speech tonight, man.
Well, I want to go to you because I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to shock you. You're not going to believe it. I'm mad at Trump. I'm not a fan of Trump. This is a surprise. It's news to you. But I think you like him. And I think that you might be one of the people who's here who's looking at this as a president that is doing a good job, even though the polling is not so strong for him. Talk to us about how you see Donald Trump right now.
Well, I think one of the things that I see, before I get into Donald Trump, let me make a point that I think is interesting. Bill Maher on his show said, why do we even bother with the State of the Union? Regardless of which party is in office. The last few presidents, it's been theater. It's not even talking about the citizens. It's if when Joe Biden was president, they yell from the audience. Trump's in the presidency, they yell from the audience. And it's more for them. They're supposed to be there for us.
That's a good point.
Okay?
Very good
And
point.
Bill said for 100 years or more, there was no State of the Union. It was a report. You gave the report. And it was delivered to the Speaker of the House. Make your comment, whatever you want. It was a piece of paper. It wasn't grandstanding. It wasn't put in the newspaper even.
So listen, you've been in politics for a very long time.
Van, that sounds like an old joke. Go ahead.
About the same as me, honestly, but
okay. Except for my oldest son is 45.
Well, maybe a little bit longer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But why is it this way? I mean, you're a good, strong conservative, but yes, we do have people on both sides that sometimes get out of hand. It seems like that's the fashionable thing.
What?
What's going on?
What are you talking about?
I think unfortunately, and we were talking about this earlier, was that the parties tend to. Okay, let me use an example. When I was born was the end of Dwight Eisenhower's presidency, Republican, 1961.
What about it,
He
dude?
comes into office. There's a transitional meeting between him and John F. Kennedy. Okay? Politically today, regardless of what party you're affiliated with, neither one of them would even be nominated by their respective parties because they were this close.
Well, so you're lamenting something, but somebody might say you're dodging my question.
Okay.
I asked you about Donald Trump, and you started talking about Eisenhower. That might make me think.
Okay. No,
that you don't want to defend this guy.
I guess the point is that regardless of who's in the White House, they seem to be playing to the edge of their parties.
I see.
Okay?
That's right.
Where with Kennedy and Eisenhower, they were much closer.
What about Trump?
They cared about the country. They cared about you.
What
they
about
cared
Trump?
About the voter. Both sides.
Let me ask a question on this vein. I think this is important. For the people in the room here who did not vote for Trump or who don't approve of Trump, is there anything he could say in a State of the Union tonight that would cause you to say, oh, you know what?
I'm sorry?
I think the president's onto something there. Can you think of something that would give you some belief that maybe there's something you could hang your hat on with a president that maybe you don't support?
Let's drag this pastor in here. See if he can pray his way out of this question. I Googled it. I kind of know. Go ahead.
The one thing that I would honestly say is a hope for the future.
Yeah.
That's one thing I believe that as the president, I believe that he can unify us as a country behind.
How?
The Bible teaches us that where there is no vision, the people perish. The one thing that I believe that this country needs right now is a vision for the future. Where do we go from here? We can spend all of our time speaking about what has been, what used to be, and what America used to be. But where is America going to the next century, to the next future? What are we leaving my kids, your grandkids, your nieces and your nephews? Any message that the president can deliver to the nation to encourage us that the nation is going to, even using the words of Ronald Reagan, that the sun will come up tomorrow, and saying that there is a future for our families, that you will be able to buy a house in the future, that you will be able to have a prosperous tomorrow, having a better job, a better retirement, a better lifestyle. Anything to encourage us that there is going to be something to hold on to.
So you're looking for optimism. I mean, that's generally what we.
But that's not what the president offers, you piece of shit.
Vision for the future. Everybody here agree with that?
Yes.
Would that get you back?
Get me back to where?
Back to loving Trump.
I never loved Trump. What you talking about?
So, Pastor, I have to be the optimistic.
Yes, you did. Me and Trump have never been friends. And never will be friends.
Well, that's my point, because you're talking about presidents needing to talk to everyone, talk to the middle of the country, not. But if you were Donald Trump and you heard someone say, "Well, there's literally nothing you can do," if you were advising him, how would you have him handle that conversation?
Well, I guess to my earlier point, but I think in the entire time that I was an elected official, okay, I made a point that the day after the election, the R and the D should fall off your name. You represent the people.
Well,
you know, I mean, I was a trustee and a treasurer on, small.
I think I'm good.
With becoming friends with you, the life you lead is so outrageous, and yet I can't tell a soul, he said. Other emails were far more graphic. In 2008, Epstein was released from a Florida state jail after serving a 13-month term for his conviction of soliciting sex from a minor. An NPR investigation finds the Justice Department failed to release some of the Epstein files related to allegations that President Trump sexually abused a minor. According to NPR, the additional files include 50 pages of FBI interviews and notes from conversations with a woman who accused Trump of sexual abuse when she was a minor. This comes despite Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was Trump's personal attorney, sending a letter to Congress earlier this month claiming no records were withheld or redacted, quote, on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity,
Used
including
to be
to
Trump's
any government
attorney,
official,
huh?
public figure, or foreign dignitary, unquote. The U.S. military's blown up another boat in the Caribbean, killing at least 3 people. The U.S. Southern Command published a 20-second video clip of the strike Monday, showing a small boat suddenly exploding. Trump officials again provided no evidence that the boat or the people on board were involved with drug trafficking. This is at least the 3rd such attack over the course of a week, bringing the death toll from U.S. boat strikes in the Caribbean and Pacific to an estimated 150 people. Several legal and human rights experts have said the attacks amount to extrajudicial killings. In Mexico, schools in Jalisco and several other states remain closed as heavily armed Mexican security forces have flooded the streets following a series of reprisal attacks by cartel members in response to the killing of Mexico's most wanted drug lord, Nemesio Reben Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho. More than 70 people have died since Sunday's operation. The country remains in high alert. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum spoke from Mexico City Monday, refuting news the United States had aided the attempted capture.
All operations are carried out by federal forces. There is no U.S. participation in the operation. What there is, as we have said here several times, is a great deal of information sharing. The understanding with the United States is based primarily on the exchange of intelligence information.
We'll have more on this story later in the broadcast. A former ICE attorney and training instructor who quit his job last week in protest has accused the federal agency of lying to Congress about having drastically slashed its training standards for new officers. During a forum Monday held by congressional Democrats, Ryan Schwank called ICE's training program deficient, defective, and
defective,
broken,
folks.
as the agency has eliminated hundreds of hours of vital training courses, including on use of force, how to safely handle
firearms,
firearms,
correct. It is defective.
and protocols to detain immigrants. Ahead of the forum, Democrats unveiled internal documents provided to Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal by DHS whistleblowers, detailing that new ICE recruits received nearly 250 fewer hours of training than before, with the agency also shortening training programs to just 42 days. The revelations come as the Department of Homeland Security is rapidly expanding its hiring of new agents, which has raised alarm on the agency's eroding screening and training standards. Ryan Schwank's testimony comes just weeks after ICE Director Todd Lyons testified in front of separate House and Senate committees, claiming the agency had not reduced the, quote, meat of the training, unquote. This week's findings contradict that. In related news, the only passenger in the car and a key witness in the fatal shooting of Ruben Ray Martinez, the 23-year-old U.S. citizen killed by an ICE agent in South Texas last year, reportedly died in a car crash this weekend. Joshua Orta had planned to speak up as the Trump administration lied about the circumstances of the fatal shooting. Palestinians in Gaza are observing the holy month of Ramadan amidst Israel's attacks and near-total blockade on food and humanitarian aid. Families have gathered across Gaza for iftar, a meal at sunset to break the daily fast. This is Reda Abu Taima, speaking from a camp in Khan Yunis for orphan children.
After the suffering that our children faced, this is the first Ramadan that we gather on one table after the ceasefire took place. The children are enjoying these atmospheres, especially at the orphanage camp. All of them gather and they have the same suffering. This is a joyful moment during Ramadan to celebrate with the children and give them support.
The cost of food has skyrocketed in Gaza due to Israel's restrictions and blockade. An analysis by Al Jazeera found food prices in Gaza at times have spiked by more than 700%. In more related news, Israeli soldiers fired nearly 1,000 bullets, at least 8 of them at point-blank range, killing 15 Palestinian aid workers last year in a massacre in South Gaza. That's according to a joint investigation by the independent research groups Earshot and Forensic Architecture, published Monday. Israel then tried to cover up the attack on the humanitarian aid convoy that included several workers with the Palestine Red Crescent Society and at least one member of UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees. President Trump blasted media reports about General Dan Kane, chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, warning him about the risks of attacking Iran. On Truth Social, President Trump wrote, quote, General Kane, like all of us, would like not to see war. But if a decision is made on going against Iran at a military level, it's his opinion that it will be something easily won, unquote. It comes as the Washington Post reports General Kane warned the lack of critical munitions and support from regional allies would endanger U.S. troops, as the U.S. munitions stockpile has been significantly depleted by support for Israel and Ukraine. Axios is also reporting General Kane was, quote, all in on the Venezuela.
Spanberger, a former CIA officer and centrist Democrat who flipped a traditionally Republican district before winning the governor's mansion, is seen as a leading voice for the party's pragmatic wing. Expect her to focus heavily on kitchen table economic issues like affordability, healthcare costs, middle-class tax policy. Some of you guys may be familiar with the idea of a designated survivor as well. This is something that fascinates people. Whenever we have a State of the Union or whenever we have a inauguration of a president, there's always one person that's left out of the festivities. And Representative Mike Thompson, the Democrat from California, let's listen in.
Mr. Speaker, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court.
As I was saying, let's talk a little bit about the designated survivor, Representative Mike Thompson. He's a Democrat from California. He's identified himself as one of the designated survivors ahead of President Donald Trump's address tonight. Designated survivors do not attend the president's address in person. Instead, they watch it from a secure, undisclosed location. He says that he was selected and will, in fact, be in an undisclosed location. If there are other, there's Justice Roberts. Kavanaugh. These were the same four that showed up last year. Alito and Thomas didn't go last year. So for those of you who aren't knowing who the designated survivor is, we do know at least one of them is Representative Mike Thompson tonight. I'm listening in for any and all cues that will see more high-profile entries. We are waiting for the big one, which will be the Sergeant at Arms, who will introduce the president. So the top issues that we're going to be focusing on tonight, certainly the economy, foreign affairs, like the Russia-Ukraine war, the U.S. military buildup. There's the second lady, Usha Vance, her and the vice president, announcing that they will be expanding their family. You got to imagine trade and tariffs are going to come up during this speech after the Supreme Court. Again, you're looking at a number of justices there. The president's family. Ivanka and Barron in attendance. We saw that President Trump and Melania. It was reported that they arrived to Capitol Hill moments ago. We have not seen them enter the chamber yet. As we speak, First Lady has arrived. So as we watch this speech tonight, we're going to be listening for how the president frames issues like...
Right, chat. How is he going to frame the issues? Actually, I think we'll just go over to Hassan because everyone's watching him anyway. Yep, no one's going to be watching me. Oh, he's not watching it live.
Sorry, I had to do that.
There that just walked in. We're seeing our Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You see Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and now moments away, we will see the President of the United States. I think Attorney General Pam Bondi as well.
There we go. I really hope Asmongold's there, bro.
House chamber. We are now minutes away from the start of President Trump's State of the Union address. The president will make his way.
They got like a plastic wrap around him.
Some of the most historic
plastic wrap around the chairs. They put him in a bubble.
Capitol. When he walks
Stink
onto
clouds
that floor,
and all.
we will take that speech live. Our special coverage continues right now.
Tonight, President Trump's State of the Union address.
Now, First Lady Melania Trump enters the House chamber.
Mr. Speaker, the President's cabinet.
Just heard the president's cabinet is now
SOTU soundboard bingo card.
Talking about the role of Marco Rubio, he certainly seems to have risen. Or I mean, how is he being perceived? Do you think?
Who would Barron invite? Nick Shitley or Aiden Ross?
That of Marco Rubio sitting in the Oval Office, wearing the hat of every possible job that there could be in the government. That is his role right now, is that he is the fixer of everything that President Trump wants to get done, whether it is
Nick Shitley is there, by the way. It's not even a joke.
It is. And for him, that actually is probably a great thing because it speaks to the confidence that the president has in him. It speaks to his competency and his ability to navigate this complex
Nick Shitley,
you know, MAGA ideology with real foreign policy, and that is not easy to do.
And there's Kristi Noem entering the House, where she served. I served with her in Congress. But look at the visual here. So Democrats boycott, and what do you have? You have Republicans lining both sides of the aisle, which is not the norm for a State of the Union. You usually have Dems that are there super early and Republicans there super early, camped out.
They have their REI tent.
Oh yeah, and it's like they bring their breakfast, lunch, and snacks. It's a ridiculous thing. But they're all seeing an enthusiastic response from that chamber that had the Democrats been there, they could have actually delivered a separate message in this moment. And instead, they're leaving it to be much more of a rally for Republicans. I think that's an interesting visual that the Democrats gave away.
Russ Vought, who's a very important
Tulsi Gabbard
member of the cabinet.
And there's Jameson Greer, the U.S. Trade Representative.
Chat, don't worry.
I still think, I mean,
you can go on Hassan's channel if you want.
There's
I don't
an
care.
anxiety that's palpable in the country about the economy. There's an anxiety about the fact that the president is distracted from dealing with the economy, that his policies have set people behind. And then you have this thing, given both what happened in Venezuela, what happened in Nigeria, what happened in Iran before, and what's about to happen in Iran, and it's never been explained. And this is a country with a nervousness and an anxiety that we're not taking care of business for tomorrow. And I think the President of the United States knows that given this election, and given that if he doesn't turn the dynamics around with this speech and other actions, he's going to have a Democratic House and Senate, and that will change his final 2 years of his presidency. So a lot is riding on this for him, and I just think that's a dynamic that is almost impossible to succeed at.
I do think to this point about what Democrats are arguing tonight, the leadership's decision to send a clear message that if you can't sit down and behave, don't come, that probably might end up being the right call, because creating a scene in that room, I don't know that that works for Democrats. So for the people who didn't think that they could sit there without reacting, them not being in the room,
well,
I'm not sure it's going to make a difference to the people
I think the people that are likely to stand up on the Democratic side will be there in force. We noticed my friend and former colleague, Al Green, he showed up. He made a scene last time. Dating back to my time, sitting in the same row with my calm, quiet colleague from South Carolina.
You mean Schumer
Barack
and
Obama's
Lutnick
president,
shaking
and
hands?
Joe Wilson
called him
"You
a
lie."
liar. Yeah.
So
Two people
since
that are both
moment, there will be some.
two people that
there'll be something
have
of a
been
show
involved with
tonight
Jeffrey
of some
Epstein.
sort.
I think this will be a bad precedent for the Democrats that they will rue the day they did this by not showing up.
Barron is chatting up.
There's the White House Chief of Staff right next to Kristi Noem as well. Jake, let's go back to you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, Kristi Noem, who is, I think it's fair to use the term controversial and possibly even embattled, the Secretary of the Department of Health. I'm sorry, Department of Homeland Security. There is the president's family. We have Tiffany, Don Jr., Eric, Ivanka, and Barron, who is in college. There is Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Is that correct, Caitlin?
That is.
Okay. And there's, of course, the First Lady,
Yep.
Melania Trump.
Everyone hates us for
First
watching
Lady and
this.
producer of a documentary about Melania Trump.
What do you mean? Midas Touch is watching it.
Controversially run on Amazon. And we're playing the parlor game, right, of trying
You're
to figure
behind
out who the
skip forward. No,
designated survivor.
CNN live feed is always on like a 2-minute delay. I know.
All right, then fuck you.
When the
Then I don't want to watch you.
The economy, his foreign policy,
okay,
funding of DHS. President Trump in recent weeks has been hitting the campaign trail, you could say. Traveling to 2 battleground states, North Carolina and Georgia. The all-important midterms coming up in November. Very
Mr.
well.
Speaker, the President's cabinet.
They just announced the President's cabinet.
Okay, that's not live either. Oh, actually, let's do this. This is even better.
His sons are making money off of that.
And
He is
tariffs, right?
Commerce
Didn't they also do a bet on tariffs?
Let's
I
watch
believe
this.
so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the details on that, but this is the Commerce Secretary. Like, shouldn't this be illegal? It didn't. No. Okay. Conflict of interest? No. We don't do that anymore.
They don't do we don't conflicts of interest, Francesca. How quaint.
How quaint.
Which is so funny. It's like, no, you're just directly profiting from your position. There's no conflicts of interest. Your interest is currently being represented. Don't you gavel me. Don't you gavel me.
Trying to cut you off.
The
Here we go.
President of the United States.
I'll be honest, it'll never not make me think every time I hear that phrase with Donald Trump. It'll never not make me think of that scene in Home Alone 2 where Donald Trump turns up and points Macaulay Culkin in the direction of where he's going, and he's now President of the United States. And it still feels like, for those of you old enough to get the reference, I still feel like Bobby Ewing at the end of that season of Dallas when he comes out the shower and it was all a dream the entire season. I still feel like that every time I see Donald Trump at occasions like this.
Yeah.
11 years that man has been like in earnest public life.
Yes.
Yes. There are. I mean, my kids have not known us other presidents.
No.
They don't. They
More
they barely remember Obama, the older one.
That's so
literally
sad.
more than half. I mean, yeah, more than half of Gen Alpha's and Gen Z's like sentient political life. That guy has been in charge of the Republican Party.
Which congressman is wearing a red MAGA baseball cap? Because just got his
Randy?
back.
Let's see.
Is it Randy? Is it
Randy
Randy?
Fine?
No.
Is that Randy
Is
Fine?
Randy bigger?
No.
You
They just
said
AI
I
him
didn't
to
say
be bigger.
nothing. I didn't say nothing. That was you, Mehdi, that said that.
That was me. That was me. I'll own that one. And the man's a genocidal maniac. I'll take
Don't you dare make me feel bad about body shaming Randy Fine. Are you kidding me?
No, it's not Randy Fine. It's some other person who I don't recognize. He's.
Who is that? Who
I don't
is
know.
that?
I don't
Maybe
know,
he's a
but
seat filler.
Republicans. There's Scalise, and then. Yeah, he's chatting to people. Donald Trump's enjoying himself. This is why he ran for president, right? This is his moment. He loves TV. He loves the spectacle.
Exonerated by the Epstein files, as we say.
Exonerated, yes.
Exonerated. Yes.
I think he's gonna be juiceless. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
this
he
is
looks.
gonna
He
be
looks
a really
like
bad speech.
Look, he looks low energy right now. He looks low energy.
juiceless.
Jeb. I know we shouldn't say
Yeah.
this because we're turning off our viewers who we want to watch, but I'll be very honest with you. I'll be very honest with people watching right now. If you want to switch off and go to sleep,
go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I want to be a very honest media person right now. I don't want to lie to you. But if you want to stay and watch me, Francesca Prem, explain the shit show that you're about to see, then stay.
Yes,
we
we're
won't
staying.
let you down. Trump is going to say a lot of shit. You're going to see it on your social media at some point. So why don't you let us pre-bud it for you and rebud it for you?
He's very coiffed, though. He's
He's very
fluked.
he looks super serious. He only enjoys doing rallies, right, where he can just tell stories about snakes and shark attacks, and he talk
He's
about
floofed.
Arnold Palmer's penis and perform oral sex on a microphone, all the kind of disgusting weird things he does at rallies. Oh, there's John Roberts. Did he?
What do you
he,
think? Yeah, wait. What do you think about this? Yeah,
Hold on. Did he engage with Roberts?
Yeah,
Did he
yeah,
engage?
yo.
First of all, John Roberts is such a little bee. He's going to turn around and gut the Voting Rights Act.
Yeah,
Watch.
of course.
Watch. Because every
Did
time
he?
John Roberts, not yet, not that I know, unless news broke just now, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, he got the shoulder
He didn't really
treatment.
engage with any of the justices, did he?
I was gonna ask about Amy Coney Barrett. Did he just?
No, I didn't think any of them. I didn't see him with Cal. I didn't really see. Fetterman!
Yo, let's go!
Honorary Republican. Here we go.
Wait, he got more love than the justices. That's crazy.
Well, there's Fetterman in between Peter Welch of Vermont and Chris Coons of Delaware, and Trump specifically singled out Fetterman. The love affair with Fetterman is insane because they spent the first few months of Fetterman's Senate career calling him insane, mentally unbalanced, stroke-induced, should be removed from office. Trump's tie is Fetterman-esque right now, I see. It's hanging at the Fetterman/Trump level.
Yep.
There's the balcony. Can we see anyone else in there who is of interest? I'm trying to have a look around. Oh, he's very happy. Is he about to do a Trump dance? No, he's not. Yeah, so we don't know how long this speech is going to be. We know there's going to be a lot of lies because Donald Trump lies as often as the rest of us breathe. And Mike Johnson and J.D. Vance will be there to applaud every one of those lies.
Do you think that Stephen Miller is backstage, like still typing it out, or is
Or
he
just
back in his blanket
like
for it?
like puppeting, like arm up the back of the jacket,
Yeah,
to just
yeah.
puppet master him. Stephen Miller is the author
I know, right?
of some of
Chat.
Trump's worst, most dystopian screeds, of course.
I think we're going to hear a lot of racism. I think he's going to repeat what he said about.
I think we're going to hear about
Somali
Somalis, right? Let's talk about. We're definitely going to hear Somalis. I think we're going to hear about Iran.
I think we're going to hear, either people trotted out who've been victims of crime, as they call it, migrant. I miss migrant crime, but immigrant crime, supposedly.
Guys, Manu, I'm going to jump in quickly before he speaks to say Manu Raju of CNN is reporting that Al Green, congressman from Texas, who was removed last year, held up a sign that said black people are not apes, obviously alluding to Donald Trump posting a video of the Obamas as gorillas. As Trump walked by, Steve Scalise jumped in and pulled it out of Al Green's hand.
Oh, I thought that was going to be Jeffries who did that. Good
So
for
is
Al
Steve-
Green.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
There are empty seats as far as I can see to the left.
Wait, also their applause is not that impressive either. Like, they definitely clapped way more for Netanyahu. Straight up.
Netanyahu, of course, gets more.
He's got more money to give him, though.
Oh, here we go. We're hollering.
USA, because where else would we be, honestly?
Yeah.
Just in case you needed the reminder.
Also, let's just be very blunt. I was just giving a speech at the National Press Club. This
Well,
man
thank
is
you
an
very
enemy
much,
to the USA.
everybody. It's
Here we
really
go.
An honor, Speaker Johnson,
Oh, boy.
Vice President Vance,
Oh, he's super sleepy.
First Lady of the United States.
Oh, I don't think the cat napping is helping, Francesca.
Celebrity, let's go. Movie star. Oh, boy. Oh.
She's so modest.
There's Lara Trump.
Half of the prediction market business in that box.
Second Lady of the United States.
Oh, speaking of which, the prediction markets must be going crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
There's
yeah.
Usha, who's due with a fourth child. Am I right in saying? For JD this
I
summer?
think so, yeah.
Oh, Usha. Oh, I
Usha,
can't. I can't even.
ex-Democrat, ex-liberal, now
Members
enabler of a white
Congress
supremacist
and
administration.
My fellow Americans.
The left her.
Our nation is back.
that what she
Bigger,
claims?
better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Yes.
First lie of the night. It is not richer than before. GDP is lower than Joe Biden.
They won't even release job numbers, by the way. People, we don't know the job numbers officially.
We're just not ready
In
for them.
5 months from now, our country will celebrate
deserve
an
them.
epic milestone
Yeah.
in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence.
This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And we've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America.
We've seen nothing. You're right. We've seen nothing yet.
Ah, yes. The golden age of America, where Americans sitting with a gun down by masked agents in the street.
When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis.
Oh, here we go.
With a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels.
Not true.
A wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight,
So I decided to double down on all of it.
I can say
Just
with
a reminder to
dignity
everyone
and
watching,
pride that we have
inflation was just under
achieved
3% when Biden
transformation
left
like
office. It's
no
pretty
one
much the
has
same
ever
right
seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround.
Trump has mastered the
for
art of
ages.
just lying.
A turnaround for the ages if you are me, my family, or in my cabinet, and
Correct.
you're currently making money off of my administration.
Or one of the many rich dudes I pardoned.
Or our
Yeah.
pedophile.
Or one of the rich pedophiles I pardoned.
Indeed.
There's many
The Venn
different
diagram. Yeah.
Venn diagram.
They're inclusive. Say what you will, they're
One of the
inclusive.
drug traffickers that I pardoned, a foreign head of state that I pardoned.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back.
Wasn't that a Kamala Harris line?
Yo.
2024.
Is he gonna say Trump is Brad? I really hope he does.
We're not going back.
We're not going back.
Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising
It's not
fast.
plummeting, just to be clear.
The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
Oh,
Sure,
the,
dude.
the dentures are doing a thing. Wow. Yeah. He better cut this short.
He's not going to.
Also, the border's never been
40
open.
years
It wasn't an
in
open
which
border.
millions and
Remember the app
millions of
that
illegal
Biden
aliens
rolled
moved
out,
across our
kept
borders, totally
millions of people
unvetted and
waiting on
unchecked.
the Mexico side of the
We
U.S.
now
border.
have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far.
No, we don't.
This entire lie that even some Democrats play into is and the media is preposterous.
I wonder
In
if
the
Fetterman's
past 9
clapping.
months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States.
0.
Who haven't paid me specifically to get a Trump gold card that
Correct.
I also rolled out for the high rollers, you know, the high rolling criminals. If you're a low level criminal, we don't
Good
love
luck.
you.
We'll
High
always
rollers,
allow
you can buy
people
your
to
way.
come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year.
Huh? That's got to be a lie, too.
Okay, fentanyl is where he goes off the chain. Like, he will make up numbers and be like, there are 350 million deaths.
Pam Bondi says he saved like 300 million lives, more than there are like
Like
people.
the population of the country?
You and I are about to die and he saved the country.
They know because they've evidently seized all the supply for themselves, I guess.
In over 125 years. Year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father. I have a
1900.
wonderful father, Fred,
Some would say.
before he was born.
Oh.
Substantially before he was born.
This is, I bet he's
a
going
long
off
time
script.
ago.
This sounds like he's
You
going off
wouldn't
script.
like me to say that, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah, we're off. Let's
The
go.
Biden administration
Yes,
and
keep
its
talking about
allies in
Fred.
Congress gave us the worst
Fred allegedly was arrested
inflation
at a KKK
in the
rally.
history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration
Protesting them, right,
has
Mehdi?
driven core inflation down to the lower years.
There were good
And
people
in
on
the
both sides,
last
though.
3 months
There were
of
definitely both good
2025, it was down to 1.7%.
Huh?
I love the fact that The way the prompters are set up is they put two screens. For
Yeah,
people who
yeah.
don't know. And you're just supposed to read it naturally. That's why they put two. But he's reading one, and then he's switching his body weight to the other. He's super tired. That podium is taking a lot of weight.
Oh, it really
He's
is.
gripping. He is gripping.
Also, wait, there's a
Hunched.
sheen on the hands. I think we need to notice right now.
yes.
$2.30.
I'm calling
Some
it. There's
folds.
a new
And in
makeup.
some places, $1.99 a gallon. And
Oh,
when I
classic when he just
visited
makes up gas
the great
prices.
state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
Where?
Where? I went and found the
What?
only gas station in the country that changed the price for my visit.
I mean, sure, it was sucked out by a train hopper who takes it from
Mortgage
other
rates
people's
are the lowest in
cars and
4
puts it in yours, but it was $1.
And the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem well.
Okay.
At the same time, protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both.
So this is where apparently his approval rating has not dipped, and people over
And
65.
we are going to keep it that way.
Which is?
The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up.
Lies.
In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion.
Substantially
pouring in
less.
from
Yeah.
all over the
I'll
globe.
bet.
Low-key, he might not bring up the Middle East at all. Like, he
No,
might
he's
just, like, lie through the economy. And,
Really?
like,
I think he's got Iran on the brain
Ta-
somewhere.
Think of
Maybe.
it. Much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a
One thing the
difference.
Democrats need to learn from the Republicans,
back
Donald
chat.
Trump has said, is you just need to learn how to confidently throw around
Short
the T
time
word.
ago, we were a
just
dead
trillion.
country.
Just like we're going to have
Now
a trillion.
we are the
We're going to bring in
hottest country
$18 trillion
anywhere in the
of
world.
investment. Who's fact checking you? Nobody.
Every 50% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Yeah, indeed.
That's true.
But he's a master of it, and I think
18 trillion in a year. I
As
mean,
thousands of new businesses
Sure. I think
are
he-
forming
didn't
in
he-
factories, plants, and laboratories.
Didn't he do a
are
Middle
being
East tour
built.
where he claimed he got
We have
more
added
investment than the GDP of those
70,000
countries?
new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can
bullshit.
believe what they're
Construction
watching.
jobs I thought were super
American oil
down.
production is up by more than
Well, he's deporting half of them.
600,000 barrels a
Well,
day.
1 in
and
3
we
construction
just
workers, I
received
believe, are immigrants.
from our
aren't
new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million
they? Oh, I just checked the
barrels
tape,
of
by the
oil.
way. Trump did shake Amy Coney Barrett's hand.
Oh. That's
Oh,
good.
our
That's
new
nice.
partner, Venezuela. Oh, a little part of me died. And of course, everyone who,
Natural
once
gas
thought
production is at an all-time
the
high because I
Bolivarian
kept
Revolution
my
was
promise
kind of cool
to
at one point.
Drill, baby, drill.
Delcy Rodriguez is like, I swear, we're not partners.
More Americans are working today than at any time
Is Cash
in the
Patel at the State of the
history
Union?
of our country. Think about that.
He's on a flight. He's on a flight still.
He's on a private jet somewhere?
Yeah.
And
He had to go catch a concert.
100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
Low key, I have not seen him. I will say.
Cash?
Yeah.
He's hard to, he's easy to miss.
I mean, he was really, really blitzed
We
after just
ended
half a course because he's so
DEI
strong.
in America.
Oh, biggest applause of the night. We ended DEI in America. That's diversity,
DEI,
equity,
of
and
course.
inclusion programs.
Well, it's officially diversity, equity, inclusion. It really is the new
We've got a
N-word for the
record
Republican
number
Party.
of job-killing
Yeah.
regulations, and in 1 year we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record off of food stamps.
You
Yeah,
didn't
we
lift
just
them off
we
of-
just we
yeah.
wait. We
You
just
kicked
took
them
them off.
I know.
We
didn't
just
lift
we
them
just got
with
rid of it.
Higher incomes. We didn't give them better
They're not
better
eating.
deals.
For all of these reasons,
They're
I
not
say
eating.
tonight, members of
Thousands of hospital beds were emptied between 2020 and 2024.
Wrong.
We did an amazing job.
Yeah, they weren't lifted off of it. They lost it, and now they're screwed.
Yep.
That's a pretty good bit, I will say. That's pretty good.
But again, this is kind of that's nothing new for Republicans.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This is what they
Our
peddled.
country is
forever.
winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it.
You can stop.
People
You should
are
just
asking
stop.
me, please, please, please,
Stop.
Mr. President, we're winning too
Please.
much.
Yeah.
We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country.
Oh, this
Until
is
you
this
came
is the
along,
first
we said, "Oh, we're
imaginary
losing, but
anecdote
now
of the
we're
night.
winning too much."
Often involves a
I
sir
say,
or some
no,
tears,
no,
but
you're
people are
going to
telling
win
him we're
again.
winning too much.
You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger
Drinking.
than ever. And to prove that point,
Oh,
here with us tonight is
Yes,
a
I
group
knew
of
it.
winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's
Oh, the
gold
hockey players.
medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Come on in. What are they doing like a
Yes.
march on stage?
Is there a Black Hawk helicopter? Oh,
Okay, that I've not
yes.
seen before. in
Wait,
the State of the
oh, I
Union.
really hope Cash is with them.
Cash better be
Please,
with them.
please.
They lift them up.
Can I just say, I don't know which hockey player said it because I don't follow hockey, but one of the players said, us going to the State of the Union is not political. No, that's not political at all.
It was I think it was the game winner.
We're just gonna be props.
I will say, to be fair, that the guy who scored the game-winning goal, he was the one who said that, and it was part of a longer conversation where he did stick up for his female counterparts. But it's still kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's like obviously
this
so
is a
brainless
political
to say
act.
it's not political. Yeah, yeah. He was saying like everyone needs to stop being so political. And it's
Is
like,
he gonna
bro,
mention the U.S. women's team, even though they
the
declined?
biggest Fed was in your locker room. Like J. Edgar Hoover's ancestor was in your locker room. What do you mean it wasn't political? What are you talking about, bro?
Descendant.
Yeah. Although, I mean, Cash Patel, if he believes in reincarnation,
Wait, but is he gonna mention the women's team? Because they also won gold.
I highly doubt it. Because they didn't want to come, so he'd be insulted probably. Also, notice half the team isn't there. I will also note it's like 6 of them.
Sorry, I have to just say, but hockey, the whitest sport of them all, and
Oh, wait.
I love hockey, but
Yeah, it's true.
It is an incredible sport, but yes, demographically in America, it's pretty darn,
yes.
Yeah.
Although, let's not forget these are the same Republicans who were happy for other
It's the
Olympians
first
to
time
lose,
I've ever seen them get
even
up.
as Americans, because they dared say they were
And
uncomfortable
actually,
with what was happening
not
in Minnesota.
all of them did get up.
Yeah.
They beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime,
What the
as
fuck?
everybody saw, as did the American women who will
Oh.
soon be coming to the White House.
Oh,
you said they're coming to the White House.
Look at that little sneer.
Oh!
I got them.
I thought they said they're not coming to the White House. So when he says they're coming to the White House, does that mean ICE is bringing them, or like how are they coming out?
Oh!
They did. I think they initially said no because they were all busy. So maybe he's like really like challenging them. Like, no, you can come at any time.
Do you think
know,
he'll lay
to make
out
them say no.
the spread, the McDonald's hamburger spread that he did in his first term?
The U.S. men's team knows what they're
All
doing
the fucking
next. Like, what's the
reporters with their
blocking on
MacBooks.
this,
Oh my God,
prop
I
piece?
can't.
I don't think they know what to
They
do.
have to cheer for when he's
That's a good
racist
question.
against Somalis later in the speech.
Yes, they're there.
No one
Clank
has
their
a
medals
ThinkPad.
I
together.
want to say a second very big congratulations
Because they
to
reboot
Team
randomly
USA.
in the middle of a phone call.
I have to say that, and I told them,
But?
so we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck.
Is he saying like voting no to come?
Yeah, voting no.
Like, yeah, I made sure that the one guy that didn't want to go would be really.
Let's check in with Hassan then. Oh no. He's farther behind.
This great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Dog, the last guy that got was Rush Limbaugh. Last guy that Trump gave that to was Rush Limbaugh. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Yeah. Exactly. least we can hear him on this one. Boo! Loser. No, he's cool. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, chat.
Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best. And I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no. And every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you all. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country.
Uh-oh, that's a threat, bro. He said we're going to invade Los Angeles.
And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup. So we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming. And that is exciting news.
Yeah, sure. Why is that exciting for me? How's that going to fucking pay my bills, Mr. Trump?
So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur.
Dog, you're literally a Nazi.
Battle of Manila.
You're literally a Nazi.
He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon.
Like, oh, wow. Remember the last time we fought fascism? Well, fascism won. You know, they're inside of the White House now.
One of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star. Came
right behind
home,
you, actually.
Started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
Bro, you think he's aware of what's going on?
No.
That motherfucker is oblivious to the fact that it's...
Where the hell am I?
The Nazis have won, okay?
So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you.
We should make him a senator while he's there, you know what I mean?
The spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission. A young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety.
I mean, that's cool. That's cool. But he's taking advantage of it.
People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something.
Wow.
Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate.
Wow.
Wow.
That is cool, though.
Hey, maybe it's just me, but I would not bring a child there. I'm just saying. This is probably the least safe environment for a child to be in.
True.
And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you.
No, guys, like...
I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further.
Really?
Where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us.
What?
And that is the promise we must
What a bunch
keep
of lies.
to America for our 250th year. Last year,
Okay, I'm done.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem told a story multiple times last year about immigration officials removing a man from the country who was a cannibal. Let's take a look.
Jesse, by you calling
Yeah,
these
watch
guys
him.
bad hombres, they really are. I was talking to a U.S. Marshal just yesterday, and he was talking about the fact that they were deporting a plane load of illegals, and one of them was a cannibal. And he kind of said it offhanded, and I said to him, what do you mean it was a cannibal? Well, we put him on the plane, put him in his seat, and he started to eat his own arms. He was such a deranged individual. This is the kind of people.
Jesse's like, the
President
fuck?
Trump is
Did you
getting
just
off
say?
of our streets. When he got back to his seat and put another individual in the seat near close to him, he said he literally was eating his own arms. That for him, he was that is what he did. He called himself a cannibal, ate other people, and ate himself that day. Well, they had to take him off of the flight and get him medical attention, and then he went back into the system. But
the other day I was talking to some marshals
Actual
that
lies.
had been partnering with
Chat.
ICE. They said that they had detained a cannibal and put him on a plane to take him home, and while they had him in his seat, he started to eat himself. And they had to get him off and get him medical attention. These are the kind of deranged individuals that are on our streets in America that we're trying to target and get out of our country because they are so deranged they don't belong here.
And I talked today about one of the horrific instances of our individuals, our law enforcement
Lots
officers,
of barbed
having
wire.
put hands on individuals that were even cannibals and removing them from our country. These are deranged individuals that other countries released out of their prisons, out of their mental institutions, and sent them to America.
It will come as a great surprise that it appears that Secretary
She
Noem
literally sounds like
made up
Stephen
that
Miller.
story. In fact, in that clip, it looked like even President Trump was shaking his head at it. The Intercept spoke to 3 federal law enforcement officials who said the story is fictional. All three sources said attempts to verify Noam's claims came up empty. The Intercept reports that Noam has failed to reply to
there is none cannibals
comments since July. Meanwhile, a longtime restaurant owner in Arizona is free this morning after ICE held her in detention for 8 months. A federal judge ruled that Chinese national Kelly Yu's continued detention was punitive because her deportation was not imminent. Authorities say Yu crossed the border illegally more than 20 years ago, but she has no criminal record, and China has not provided the travel documents required for her removal.
No, not easy. Like freedom in general. So who does not like to have freedom? That's why I'm coming here for.
Yu was reunited with her family and also greeted by Arizona Congressman Greg Stanton, who posted this picture on social media. In response, the Department of Homeland Security sharply criticized the judge's ruling ordering Yu's release. Yu does remain at risk of deportation at any time if China issues her travel documents to U.S. authorities. And Gene Robinson, let's remember when President Trump first came to office, he insisted that it would be the worst of the worst who were removed.
She's a terrible person, right?
Not only do we have cases like this, clearly not the worst of the worst, someone whose only crime was, to enter the U.S. illegally, but we also have so much of these deportation operations carried out by an agency, DHS, which has lied time and time again, from things as nonsensical as this cannibal story to the circumstances of the shootings, the murders of 2 American citizens.
Yeah, DHS, it's fair to conclude at this point that DHS simply lies all the time about everything. I mean, you look at the lies that were told about what was being done in Minneapolis and about the killings of U.S. citizens, and the lies about, various examples of supposedly the worst of the worst. And Ms. Yu in Arizona, I guess, being part of the worst of the worst. And, of course, the lies about cannibalism on the plane. They make stuff up. And
what the fuck?
This is not normal. And this
not only did she make it up, she repeated it 4 times. For
a government department to act this way and to speak this way, when will there possibly be any reckoning for this? I mean, even Kristi Noem is still there.
Right. Well, the possible reckoning comes after the elections, and if the Democrats take over the House, then they control the relevant committees, and then they can subpoena these people and see if they'll come before Congress and answer subpoenas. I'm not entirely confident that they will answer subpoenas, so then we'll have that whole fight. But, at the same time, Gene, I would say there is some reckoning going on, and that reckoning is happening in the minds of the American people who don't approve of what they're seeing here.
Yeah.
And I would encourage everybody
that is correct.
To read about or go watch the testimony yesterday from the ICE whistleblower, Ryan Shank, who said some incredible things. That he essentially said they are training people to violate the Constitution.
No shit.
And they cut training time more than half, from 580-something hours to 240 hours. And the kinds of things they cut out were, of course, how to go about your business legally and constitutionally.
Right.
So there
without
is
killing people.
Right. So there is some reckoning going on, but we certainly need more, and that can only happen maybe when the Democrats take the House.
Maria Teresa, hi. I'm wondering if you could talk about you have a lot of internal polling, and I'm wondering if you could talk about what the sort of feeling is with the DHS, with what we're seeing from DHS, and if you're seeing that reflected in different communities.
Thank you for asking that question, Molly. One of the things that we're seeing is that, yes, the economy is tanking, but among the Latino community, we also see his approval ratings tanking because of the excessive force that they're doing on ICE. When you have a Cuban American basically saying that they are departing from President Trump, that's the base. That's the Republican base on the Latino side. And when you're seeing that, it is very indicative that he is losing not only the trust, but also people's sense of safety. I have to share with you, when we saw what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis, looks at what happens when a community comes together, not just for the Latino community, but basically standing for American values. One of the things that we are actively supporting at our organization, at Voto Latino Foundation, is Representative Kelly's impeachment papers, encouraging the Democrats to say, no, don't wait for him to fire her, because if you wait for him to fire her, he won't do that. But if you encourage impeachment, at least you start going after a cabinet that's highly incompetent in a place that people actually understand.
I agree.
They're violating the rule of law. No one feels safer.
They're not doing everything
the
they
fact
can
that
do.
we have more
She's
deaths
right.
in detention under this
They should be
administration
doing everything.
than we have in 20 years.
Throw
speaks
it at the
volumes.
wall.
And the fact that
Till the
they've
spaghetti
arrested
sticks.
and detained over 170 American citizens that we know of
You know?
should also give people pause. But then following closely what we're
Throw
seeing
everything
from
at the wall
Congressman
until the
Castro
spaghetti
in Texas,
sticks. You've got the right
highlighting
consistency.
what is
Come
happening
on.
in the Dilley detention.
Jesus.
There's roughly 3,700 minors in detention. Many of them are going without
That's a
medical
lot of
care.
minors, folks.
Many of them are going without food. Many of them are going
That's a lot.
without education. We have instances of 6-year-olds that have been there for at least 3 to 4 months. That's in direct violation of the Flores Agreement. The Flores Agreement basically says that you cannot detain a child for more than 20 days. So, you could racket every single violation that they have done, and the fact that the Democrats, I would encourage them to be much stronger, much more forceful, because there is not a household in America that doesn't see a child in these decrepit positions saying that this is not right. This is
no
something
shit.
that I would encourage them to go full force on.
Except Trump and his
The polling
cronies.
shows Americans
No.
approve. President
Christy
of Voto
Nome.
Latino Foundation, Maria Teresa Kumar, thank you so much for
She
joining
loves
us
to
this
see the
morning.
children in the
Editor of the New
cages.
Republic, Michael Tomasky, thank you as well.
Disgusting humans.
Now to the Supreme Court. On Friday, remember, striking down President Trump's sweeping global tariffs.
Embarrassed if
in
he
a
said no, so they all
6-3
came? Like, what are you
ruling,
talking
saying
about?
The
Let's
International
check in.
Emergency Economic
That is a
Powers
large
Act
man.
does
Sorry,
not
that's
give
so
the
just
president
non-political. That's a
authority to
Fetterman-sized
impose
man.
broad import duties. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice John Roberts said the framers did not vest any part of the taxing power in the executive branch. The decision leaves open whether businesses can seek refunds
The typical family,
on $133 billion.
A speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly use the word affordability, a word.
Affordability.
So, Ron,
Talking
let's
about
talk
this
Zoran.
word.
Talk about
Knowing
Zoran.
full well
New
that they
word. We've never heard
caused
of it
and created
before.
I love it when he discovers new
increased
words in the English language.
prices that-
We're talking about
Never heard of that.
Grocery,
Grocery.
That's a new
Never
one.
heard of that word before.
Scott,
You
you
know
know
what else
about
is
that word?
insane?
Grocery?
In his first term, he met with a group of journalists from The
It's a
Economist
bag.
magazine, and he claimed to have come up with the phrase pump priming, which John Maynard Keynes came up with 100 years ago.
It's a bag of different things in it. The other thing that's really crazy, and if we had any fair media in this country, we would talk
They knew
about,
their statements were a lie. They knew it.
is the fact
They
that
knew their statements
the
were a
taxes
big
on
and rotten lie.
the tax breaks that
Their
he's given to the 1%
policies
has
created
added
the high
to the debt
prices.
enormously. What is
Our
it?
policies
And remember, the
are
Republican Party is the
rapidly
party that
ending
deals with the
that.
debt.
We are doing really
And nobody
well.
asks
Those
how we're going to
prices
pay
are
for
plummeting
all of these
downward.
tax cuts. How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it?
No one asks how you're going to pay for tax cuts. No one asks how you're going to pay for a war in Iran, but everyone asks how you're going to pay for Medicare for all.
The price of eggs is down
Price of eggs, drink.
percent.
My kombucha.
Axstein, Heinlein,
Hotels, automobiles, rent.
Groceries.
The price of eggs.
Did you just add rent in there? Did you sneak
That's
rent in
all
there? You
not
really
And
true.
rent.
MFer?
Price of rent has come down.
Rent.
And soon you
Rents
will
are down
realize that few
40%.
people would think were possible.
Wages are down 90%.
Any person that's gone to a grocery store knows, just like generally speaking, like everything is like actively worse, like even like
Yes.
quality wise, and 4 times more expensive.
And none of it's being checked
cut.
for, salmonella or
confronting one of the
basic.
biggest
basic-
rip-offs
no
of
food
our
inspection.
time,
That's all being done
the
by
crushing
RFK.
costs of health
He
care.
licks it clean.
Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare,
Which you
big
couldn't
insurance
rescind
companies have gotten rich.
because
It
there was
meant for the insurance
upheaval.
companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the Greek healthcare plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost.
From the same companies that will make it more expensive.
But bro, you just explained the Affordable Care Act. You literally just explained the Affordable Care Act. I want to give money to the people, and then so they can go back and buy their health insurance.
Maximum price transparency.
Literally.
That's a big deal.
Maximum price transparency.
So big.
Oh.
And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Of course, we're going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on healthcare and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before.
Trump RX!
Disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court. Absolutely ashamed.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's kind of like the Wall Street Journal saying that was the low point of his second term.
That was
Please, seriously. I mean, Casey could count down the hits, and this wouldn't be the top 40. We'd have to go to a year-end 100 countdown for the top 100 shocking things he said. That one may crack the top 10. That said, foreign influences, please. Is this projection? Is this confession coming from the president?
Foreign?
I mean, President Trump owes the Supreme Court an apology, says the Wall Street Journal. The individual justice he smeared on Friday, the institution itself, Mr. Trump, doubtless won't offer one, but his rant in response to the tariff defeat of the court was arguably the worst moment of his presidency. Again, come on. If we're listening on, like, Casey's countdown of the worst moments of his second term, you know,
I don't know,
number
dude.
14, and then we come in. Maybe. But
Maybe.
what he said about the three justices that dissented, my God, they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be humiliated because, as Neil Gorsuch pointed out, they had one standard for Joe Biden, and they had another standard for Donald Trump. Now, you can say the same thing for the three liberal members of the court who had one standard for Joe Biden and one standard for Donald Trump. The three justices in the middle on this case that actually made up the majority, Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett, and John Roberts, actually did something. Oh, my God, Mr. President, it's so shocking. They were consistent legally. And let me just say, I may be a poor, dumb country lawyer, but even I understand there was no room for dissent in this case. It was a 9-0 decision. It should have been a 9-0 decision. He clearly was abusing this process. I think more importantly than that, Frank Four, though,
yeah, for sure,
was Neil Gorsuch's concurrence.
Okay.
Which went around for good reason. Everything that everyone was saying about too much power being consolidated in the executive branch, in the second branch, Neil Gorsuch, and we'll read some of it in a minute, Neil Gorsuch wrote such an extraordinary concurrence that really held Madisonian democracy up high. And I think offered a lot of people on the left, center, and right hope that we're in a bit of a quandary here.
Really?
Because I really don't know how we're going to have room for the arch and all the other things Donald Trump's building. And then when he leaves, we're going to have to build a statue for Dan Quayle for saving American democracy, right? For telling Mike Pence, you got no choice. You got to do your job. And then we're going to have a Gorsuch statue for saving Article 1. So I don't know where we put. Maybe there's a reflecting pool or something that we have Gorsuch and Dan Quayle staring at the center. But it is remarkable in these remarkable moments that somebody like on January 6th, it was Dan Quayle that said, no, you got to do your job. Here, you have Neil Gorsuch stepping in going, you guys really need to read the Constitution again. And yeah, it's hard, but it's hard for a reason because our founders wanted it to be hard. An extraordinary concurrence. I think people on the left, center, and right would agree.
I think we're going to run out of space on the mall by the time we get to the Dan Quayle Memorial, so I'm not holding my breath on that one. But just to double back to Trump's response, it was kind of the economic equivalent of Pizzagate. I mean, he was extolling a conspiracy theory about the Supreme Court in order to undermine its legitimacy, which is taking his battering ram to American institutions to this next level, because of course the Supreme Court is the ultimate check on the powers of the president. And the Supreme Court to date had given Trump license to essentially pursue his executive authority in a maximalist sort of way. And here they finally started to impose limits.
And by the way, Frank, if you don't mind, Frank, just really quickly and then continue. The way they did that through 2025, through his first year, is they would not overturn, or they would not agree with lower court rulings that would check his powers. So everything was just in a holding pattern until the last day of the year when they said, no, we actually, okay, yeah, you can't use troops to police American cities. That was the first time. This is another one. Go ahead.
Right, but they have given him a blank check as it relates to immunity and the like over time. And here there's pushback. And the reason that Trump needed to respond in the way that he responded is because the unmitigated exercise of executive authority is so essential to his self-conception and his conception of the presidency. So when he's challenged in this eloquent way, where Gorsuch delivered this kind of rousing call for Congress to start, I read it as a rousing call for Congress to begin asserting itself again. This cuts to the very core of the Trump presidency, which is why he has to respond in the way that he does, because it's an attack on his monomaniacal interpretation of the presidency.
Well, and you know, Mika, the thing that he said afterwards, which again, it's so unfortunate that he thinks this way, but you know, he's had no reason not to think this way because Congress has capitulated to him and the court dragged their feet throughout most of 2025. He was asked, so are you going to go to Congress? And he goes, I don't need Congress. Said, I don't need anybody. He really needs somebody to read the Constitution to him. It's pretty simple. Maybe Kash Patel can make a cartoon book that has a first, second, and third branches and explain, or maybe I don't know. Hey, Alex, if we could send over to the White House the afternoon rock, I'm just a bill. Schoolhouse Rock. We can send them Schoolhouse Rock and send it attention to the White House, and it can come from us, and it'll explain to him that no, he can't do it by himself, and that's why he's so angry, because nothing radical was done actually last week. The only thing that was done was Justice Gorsuch and 5 other members of the court interpreted the Constitution as it was written by Hamilton, Madison, our founders.
And to your point about Congress, Gorsuch, he warned against sidelining lawmakers in favor of executive power, writing, quote, yes, legislating can be hard and take time. And yes, it can be tempting to bypass Congress when...
Okay, bye-bye.
We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures
Come
through
on.
unrestricted immigration and
Get the
open
camera off
borders
Ilhan Omar.
brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance,
What the
rates,
fuck,
rent,
bro?
taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are
Damn.
not playing games.
Fuck ICE.
Delilah.
Let's go.
She's a fuck ice queen. God, I love Rashida so much. And Iman
Rashida
too.
rocks.
This is a fucking Nazi rally, man. What do you say?
Coleman was
Yep.
only 5 years
Remember,
old.
right.
Remember, fucking 90% of Somalis are American citizens. He's just shitting on American citizens.
To her,
Yes.
stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up.
Please stand up, bro. She can't walk. Yo, this is one of the grossest. This is one of the grossest things that the Trump administration, the Trump camp does. Like where they bring up like victims, right? Where they bring up victims of like car crashes or victims or family members of like people who have been murdered to drive home a point that like undocumented migrants are a scourge on
Thank you,
on
Delilah.
U.S. soil, and it's
Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
just like the Lake and Riley Act.
She stood up.
And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they
This is
ever
my
got elected,
this
they
is
would
like
open up
the
those
most like
borders to
unbearable aspect
some
of
of
the
the
State
worst
of the Union
criminals
and shit
anywhere in
like
the world.
that is when they do these
The only
like
thing standing
unique
between
individual heinous
Americans and a
crimes,
wide open border
and then they just
right now
decide
is
like
President Donald J.
tens of
Trump
millions of
and our
people
great
living on U.S.
Republican
soil are
patriots in
responsible for
Congress.
the
Thank you.
heinous crimes of one person. It's such a fucking It's such a clear cut, racist,
Disgusting.
bullshit mode of propaganda. It's unbelievable. If you want to understand it, it's like imagine if he brought up like victims of a Jewish person to be like, this is why we got to bar all Jews, or victims of a black person. A victim of a black person to be like, this is why we got to ban all black people. We got to kill all black people.
Exactly.
Like, it's exactly the same thing, right? But because they're migrants, people don't have the capacity to understand that, like, this is not the adequate measure to take here at all.
Tonight, I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, the Democrats don't stand up. They obviously care about only supporting illegal aliens, like that sort of thing. It's a childish ultimatum. It's literally, it has the same effect of being like, child abuser says what? And if you say what, you're like, oh, got him. Like, it's literally the dumbest technique of all time. And Republicans use it. They spam it, dude. They love spamming that shit. Yeah, Trump be like, you're gay if you're sitting down. Everyone who's not standing is gay. You see? Look at all the homosexual congresspersons.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Get up there and beat his ass, Elon! The people stand with you!
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. The cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%.
It's polling at 200%.
And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good.
Yeah, he's paying them, brother. The city is paying them. If he didn't do that, you'd be like, oh, he's giving undocumented illegals money.
And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it.
She was shouting, "You've killed Americans" at Trump. You have killed Americans.
And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
What is this?
The fuck? She's actually... So?
Of course, it's fucking Liberty University.
Thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents.
Lies!
That we've been talking about. We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately.
Chat, I know what the fucking finger gesture is an indication of. I'm saying, like, this is black queer culture, and she's doing it at the fucking Nazi rally as a detransitioner that is, you know, playing a role as a prop at the Nazi rally
I know,
against trans people.
Amazing. Seven. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we?
I think they should be way more fucking loud. It's free ball. Any Democrat that disrupts the proceedings right now is going to get endless amounts of praise, dude.
Yep.
You have nothing to fucking lose.
Now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that?
Oh
Over
my
the past
God.
year, she has
This
had
is literally Erdogan. We are straight up a third world country. I'm sorry, no disrespect to developing nations and shit, but like this is literally developing nation shit. This is literally third world. This is like dictatorship in the third
101.
world shit. Like, look at my beautiful wife. I've made her a movie star.
bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She
We have
gets a lot.
Turkified America at an alarming rate.
Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the
You're insulting your own
presidential
country.
AI
I'm
challenge,
insulting
keeping
both of my
America's
countries.
next
They
generation
deserve it,
positioned
both
to
of them.
succeed and
Yeah.
strongly succeed in the future.
Turkey has sucked for a long
Tonight we
time.
welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont.
Oh, wow.
Thank
He
you
said
both, and
Everest
Melania, thank you, and
Nevermont.
how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much.
She smiles. There's her smile.
I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has
Jesus
been a
Christ.
tremendous renewal in religion, faith,
Me.
Christianity,
Not
and
yelling
belief
Trump.
in God.
Over the Epstein files.
Tremendous renewal.
Go, Rashid.
This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man.
Charlie Kirk. Oh, there she is.
Oh!
Oh!
Come on, give me something good, baby. Come on, baby. Give me something good.
So
Give me
last year,
something good.
Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
You Nazis!
Spamming the name of
Nazis.
the fucking podcaster.
Fucking Nazis. Nazis.
We must all come together to reaffirm that America is one
Nazis.
nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind.
Yeah.
Except for the kind that I do to all of my enemies.
I mean, they stood for that. They stood for that.
And we love bringing it back.
We love
And it's
religion.
coming back at levels that nobody.
We love bringing back the religion.
A beautiful thing to see.
I've done more for religion than religion's ever done for you.
Keeping our community safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue.
God,
to
he
be
just
released
prattles
by
on for hours.
pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zurutska.
Oh.
In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful.
Oh no, he's gonna say something nasty about a girl now.
some pressing problem arises. But the
Back to our
deliberative
shit.
nature of the legislative
We'll get highlights
process
tomorrow.
was the whole point of its design. He added, through that process, the nation can tap the combined wisdom of the people's elected
Charlotte, North
representatives,
Carolina.
not just that of one faction
Ukrainian.
or man. The opinion amounted to a pointed rebuke of conservative justices who were more willing to uphold broad presidential authority and a forceful reminder, Gorsuch
Overruled.
argued, that the Constitution places the power to make lasting policy squarely in Congress's hands. Despite siding with the court's liberal...
He is not wrong. And we all know how Congress has, especially the Democratic Congress, sat on its laurels and collected the paycheck, so to speak, for a really long time. Correct.
Judges Gorsuch also criticized them for previous
And
rulings.
you
during
have
the
enabled
Biden
it, Mika.
administration. Dissenting in past major questions
Enabled it, Mika.
cases, Gorsuch wrote, the court's liberal members have argued that broad statutory language granting
Mika
powers to
Brzezinski.
executive officials should be read for
Oh,
all
Mika.
it is worth. Yet now, when it comes to the IEPA's similarly broad language granting powers to the president, they take a more constrained approach.
Well, and David Drucker,
David
really
Drucker.
quickly, the consistency here, as David French pointed out over the weekend, is real. You
David
had the
Drucker
court,
and
of
David
course,
Finch.
Throwing out Biden's student loan decision, his executive order, also the OSHA mask mandates under similar logic, and now they're doing it again with Donald Trump's tariffs. So there is a consistency here, but as Gorsuch also said,
I have all my hair, my black
the
hair
very
back.
people today who are
80% of
going
it.
to be critical of this opinion
I don't know what happened.
will be the very people 4 years from now looking back saying, thank God for that opinion, when a Democrat comes out and decides we're going to, and this question was actually raised in oral arguments, we're going to declare a climate emergency and we are going to do an
Yeah, this is a day before he just is now talking at the State of the Union and telling us how great everything is and how great it's going for him. No, it's not going great for him at all.
executive order that's going to do a lot of things from the White House that we couldn't pass through Congress. Or you could say the same with guns. You could say the same with trans athletes. You could say
The worst
same
people in
with so
the
many other
world, dude.
things.
Yeah, it's really what's so fascinating about the Gorsuch ruling was that he didn't spare anybody. He didn't spare the executive branch. He didn't spare Congress. And then he had some choice words for his colleagues, right, for the judicial branch about constitutional consistency and playing the long game when you're talking about how these branches are supposed to operate, how they're supposed to relate to each other, and how important it is that judges don't make choices based on who's in office. You know, the real question here, Joe, is whether
It's supposed to be
anybody is
impartial.
listening, right? Because we know the White House isn't listening. Because the White House doesn't want to listen, and the president's already made that clear. The silence on Capitol Hill from most Republicans has been extremely loud, right? There hasn't been a full-throated demand to codify the president's tariffs. There have been a few of the president's allies that have said we should do that. Some of the Republican leaders up there said we're going to look at this. But most Republicans are not clamoring for this. But ultimately, this system doesn't work and will not work until Congress as an institution between both parties gets jealous about its power and stops the executive branch from doing things, even things they agree with, because the executive branch doesn't have the power to do that. Just one final thing about the court. It should give a lot of people confidence that a court came to this ruling in part because of two Trump appointees. And I think that's important.
Yeah, it is important, and everybody always, and we'll talk more.
Yeah,
about
he picked
this
good
in
judges.
a little bit with David Ignatius, who's been around,
Even though they're partisan.
for as long as I have. And
They still
you
have
see
some
justices
morals.
going in, and people immediately go, "Oh, they're Republicans, they're Democrats." Some actually, sadly, become ideological. There's so many others, and we actually saw it his first year with Brett Kavanaugh, who surprised a lot of people. Unfortunately, he now seems to be little more than a vassal of Donald Trump on every decision.
Yeah, true.
I don't pick out one decision or another because it's never as simple as you see people talking about on TV. But Amy Coney Barrett, John Roberts, Neil Gorsuch, it's very interesting what he's done here. He also has had a couple other really fascinating decisions as well, where he doesn't just go in a straight line. But yeah, and for the White House, if they want any legacy whatsoever, they need to pass legislation, because what happens with executive orders? They're overturned on day one when the next president gets in office. Legislate. Do it the way of the Constitution. You have no other choice. You can't strike out and then trot around the bases and jump up and down and say, I hit a home run, because everybody in the stands know you didn't. So why don't we try it Madison and Hamilton's way and build a legacy?
Sure, dude. You need to replace every single member of Congress in order for any
The
of that to
Olympics
happen.
are over. And the way you know the Olympics have ended is because, as is tradition, the United States sent the head of the FBI in the middle of multiple investigations to go and party with some of the athletes. Here is Kash Patel.
Yes. Tradition.
I mean,
of course.
This is, I don't know. I don't know how the USA hockey team feels about this.
Oh, they love it. This is very unfortunate. It was quite hard for me to root for this group of guys, the Kachuk brothers. There's so many MAGA-associated, MAGA-loving players on this team, so I'm sure we're thrilled to have Kash
And they don't
Patel
read the
down there.
news, so.
It's ruining the sport.
I hadn't followed them, but I like to think that there's at least one guy in the locker room going like, "Hey, seriously?
Epstein files?
Yeah.
Don't you shouldn't be busy?
Here is your director of FBI.
Yeah, all the ones that didn't show up for the fucking.
There's Dylan Larkin right behind him. Oh, there's Matthew
his gold
Kachuk.
medal.
There's Matthew Kachuk.
There's
putting
the
it
gold medal
on him.
that Cash won.
Jesus Christ. They're singing country music.
Put a boot in your ass. This is the Iraq War build-up song.
Oh, that's
yeah,
fantastic.
I wish they lost.
I mean, and
I don't mind saying it at all.
Well,
I
I'll
agree.
just a little bit of sports. Canada was by far the better team. They just got goalied. If you can root for one guy, it's Connor Hellebuck, who's one of the best goalies in the history of U.S. hockey. So, also, if you want like a little bit of a, to
Too bad.
stick it to them here, I don't know how you can be this euphoric about a gold medal when the Russians aren't playing. I mean, it really is amazing to me that the Olympics
Especially the
have
hockey
marginalized
team.
themselves to such a degree that the U.S. and Israel committing a genocide right now get to participate, but the Russians don't. Like, of course, Russia's war in Ukraine is horrendous. We're committing genocide.
None of those three countries should be involved.
The Olympics marginalize themselves as a relic in the West by having these completely unequal and hypocritical stances.
Be that as it may, I am, I would say, agnostic as to whether the head of the FBI should be partying with the USA hockey team or any of the athletes. But the thing that I find a little bit annoying about it is that we all paid for him to fly there and party. That was a business trip, I guess.
I'm sure.
I don't know. I think this guy agrees with me that this is not the best use of U.S. taxpayer dollars.
And I'm not saying take all their funding. I'm not the defund everything guy. I'm just saying Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off. Just some thought.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum. but we paid for his jaunt. We also paid for him to go see his girlfriend in a concert or something.
Yeah,
right?
did she get to go to the Olympics?
No, it's just for the boys. The boys were out.
They needed to party. But to be fair to Kash Patel, he's not the only one in the Trump administration who is incredibly corrupt. Here is a tour of the $70 million luxury jet that taxpayers have bought for Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski. Their
to definitely not make out in
flying love shack. Here's Jacob Soboroff.
Oh, it smells crazy in there.
VIP 737-8 MAX jet. Let's go into the hallway here. We're going to do this together, guys. Paneling's quite nice. This is, I think, maybe a powder room on the left-hand side that the secretary may use. Somebody said there are bidets on board. I don't know if you flip up the toilet seat there, that's a bidet or just a toilet seat, but nice looking either way. And I don't know if it's real wood or laminate or whatever, but pretty fancy looking.
Oh,
This is
it's
the
real
kitchen, the
wood.
galley kitchen. When you go in here, perfect stainless steel appliances. Are those mixed nuts up there? There's a microwave. I don't even have a microwave in my house. I swear to God. 2 fridges, it looks like. Let's go back out into the hallway here and head back towards the back of the plane.
Soboroff and I are
those are all
kindred
captain's
spirits
chairs.
on the microwave.
They look like nice leather. I don't think it's pleather. If there are deportees there, I don't think they're going to be using the wet bar.
No, where Lewandowski.
Yeah, no, we don't need to hear more. I mean, the ostensibly this is for deportees to be sent out, but I guess it is for Lewandowski and Kristi Noem to oversee the deportees, I guess, to fly out. We got to fly too.
Kristi Noem also, I believe, because, allegedly she and Corey Lewandowski are in this multi-year-long extramarital affair, she needed her privacy and kicked out a military member in one of the, that they don't have actual traditional housing as a way cabinet members would just have a home in D.C. They live on military bases for extra privacy.
She also had someone fired for leaving her blanket on the plane, and then they rehired him. So
Lewandowski fired him for her.
Right, because they forgot
Chivalry
the
is
blanket.
not dead.
Exactly.
And just to top it off, just to give you this is really just, we're trying to provide the various flavors of corruption that are going on in this administration. We don't talk about how corrupt this administration is on a regular basis because it is almost now normalized by this administration. The entire tariff regime was a leverage point for corruption, so you could provide waivers. Here's Judd Legum. He has his Substack is
Popular Info.
Really definitely
good.
worth a subscription to. He writes, on January 23rd, Crypto.com donated $5 million to MAGA Inc., Trump's primary super PAC. The donation was first disclosed in an FEC filing Friday night. That would have been last Friday. Less than a month later, on February 17th, the Trump administration intervened on Crypto.com's behalf in a high-stakes federal lawsuit. Keep scrolling through the lawsuit concerned whether Crypto.com could offer prediction markets on sporting events in Nevada, even though it violated state law. Crypto.com lost and is appealing Trump's Consumer Financial CFTC, the Commodities Future Trading Commission, is backing Crypto.com's appeal. So it's essentially functioning as their sort of filing an amicus brief or their co-counsel. The timing of the CFTC's intervention raises serious ethical questions. I'll say this is just par for the course. We know stories of people buying pardons for $1 million, $1.5 million. I mean, it goes on and on. If we were to cover the Trump administration's daily corruption stories, we would honestly have time for little else. But it is important for us to sort of just keep you in mind, or I should to remind you to keep in mind the fact that the Trump administration is incredibly corrupt and is continued that corruption on a daily basis. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out. I want to be drunkest for Trump, but I'm most interested in the two Democratic responses that we're going to see, or at least two. The Progressive Caucus, Summer Lee is going to be addressing, and I'm very curious to see what she has to say. She's
Great choice.
A really great congressperson.
The Tim Duncan of the progressives, Matt once called her, and I think it's
Big fundamentals.
It's a great fundamentals. Kind of goes about her business quietly and is always on point. Yep.
The Democrats, it's really Chuck Schumer. You'll recall last year, Chuck Schumer had Elise Slotkin on because she was the rising star of the party at this time last year. That didn't go so well, that project. They really tried. They really tried. Remember, there was this rash of articles where she was going around and saying, like,
she's the future.
She's the future, and we need to get back to basics, CIA stuff, and
what a coincidence. The future, according to Chuck Schumer, is his exact politics, but with someone who's 30 years younger.
Exactly. Yeah. And this year, they have done basically the same thing. A listener sent this video, or a link to this video. This guy's on our list, Todd Stormer, I think is his name. He has written a book that's going to come out in June on the resistance. And, you know, there it is. Some people are allergic to that word, but it's not the resistance as you know it, like historically, like actual resistance. And he breaks down the choice.
La resistance.
Abigail Spanberger and the location, which is at Colonial Williamsburg. Here, I think this clip, if I remember correctly, this is where he's like
La resistance.
That choice relative to last year. I'll expand on what he says because it really is fascinating. He goes over the potential other scenarios that Democrats could have chosen, but the Democratic establishment, it's Chuck Schumer.
Went with
It's Chuck Schumer.
Yes. Wait, wasn't she also CIA, Spanberger?
Yes. Oh, they're good friends.
Wait,
so their CIA.
Hold on, they're doing 2 in a row? CIA, like deep state people?
Oh no, I think you have to.
Oh right.
I think you have to.
That's how you do it.
He's going to do CIA, former CIA agents. You got to do 2 in a row, so neither one sticks out as being too CIA-ish.
Right. Correct.
Hiding in plain sight.
Oh my God.
But here is Stormer.
Hiding in plain sight.
Spanberger, and they chose Colonial Williamsburg. And this isn't the first time. Last year, the Democrats picked Alyssa Slotkin to deliver the response to Trump's first address to Congress. Also a centrist, also a former CIA officer. Spanberger and Slotkin are actually friends. They went to Congress together in 2018. They shared an apartment on Capitol Hill.
Whoopsie.
They're cut from the same cloth.
Whoopsie.
So it's not a one-time calculation. The Democrats have now chosen this type twice in a row. That's a pattern, not coincidence. Tells you something about what the party's leadership thinks the opposition to Trump should look like, what they look like.
I carry my burdens alone.
Now, Spanberger deserves all kinds of props. Hell, she's the first female governor of Virginia in its history, and I'm a historian of this stuff, and that's a big deal. She checks the credential box, too, and she's safe. The calculation here is entirely about November. We're 8 months away from the midterms. The strategy isn't to incite a movement or to frame a revolution. It's to comfort purple voters. Forget about you folks on the left. It's the adult in the room strategy. A former CIA officer talking about affordability and norms doesn't scare these suburban voters and mythical middle folks. But it does go deeper than just votes.
Yeah.
By putting her in Colonial Williamsburg, they're making a specific argument about the country. That the system still works. That the patriotic story is still valid. That institutions still produce progress. And we don't need to burn it down or rethink it. We just need to restore it. Present Spanberger as the future that returns us to the past. It's like saying, vote for us and we'll make it 2016 or 2008 again, which is appealing to a lot of people. They're tired. The chaos of the last few years, the idea of just going back to something that feels normal is seductive to many, especially the white people, and that's just
it's boring.
fantasy.
That's what they want to
Which
sell,
brings us
yeah.
to the backdrop. Fantasy and Colonial Williamsburg seem to have a tendency of going together in a sense. So the timing's not accidental, right? It's America's 250th. You've heard that all over the place.
Okay, he goes on. I mean,
both parties
and just to paraphrase, he makes the argument that, like, yes, it is a fantasy, and we're returning to it. Now, he doesn't critique necessarily the strategy as much as I will. He's not necessarily in favor of it. He's just analyzing.
Accurate analysis. Yeah.
But the fact is that, first off, we're at a midterm. The idea that the biggest gains can be made from turning former Republican voters into Democratic voters, I think is absurd. The biggest gains are going to be in getting Democratic voters who vote in on-year elections to go out and vote more.
Oh, we lost our high ground.
The biggest gains are going to be from Republican voters just staying at home because they're just disgusted by this. Now, Stormer gives 4 other examples of what the Democrats could have chosen to run, which I think is really helpful. And they're, I don't want to say they're extreme examples, but he really draws them in contrast. One would be Minneapolis. Instead of having it at Colonial Williamsburg, which is a fantasy.
It's gonna let them get away with that?
It was a town that was built in 1920.
There's so many other patriotic sites in Virginia. Okay.
But the point is, it is a, like, it's almost like a Disneyfication.
Yeah.
Of like what, like, you know, of sentimentality. We're gonna go back to this era that was always a fantasy in the first place.
Remember your class trip?
You could have it at Minneapolis, where, I mean, everybody knows what's gone on there, where it is a sign of both the strength of the people in Minneapolis in fighting against the worst parts of the Trump regime. You could have had Ilhan Omar, who was attacked herself, deliver this. Now, of course, Chuck Schumer would never allow this to happen, but it does give you, it's just an illustration as to how it could be different. You could have somebody else from Minnesota deliver the speech. You could theoretically have Abigail Spanberger go to Minneapolis. Now, she's not really part of that fight, but, or you could have had Mamdani give the speech from a tenement museum in New York City, saying we're here about talking about protecting
Go to the Statue of Liberty. Go to the Statue of Liberty and talk about the nation of immigrants.
A different vision of what America is than what Donald Trump has, and heighten the contrast. Or you could have had the mayor of Philadelphia deliver the speech from George Washington's former home, where Donald Trump tried to tear down, ordered the National Parks Service to take down the plaque about slaves being there, and was ordered to replace it, bring it back by a federal judge. She could have been there to tie in sort of like this moment as a reconstruction. Or he said you could have had AOC, from like a foreign policy place where
she could have done it from the Statue of Liberty as someone from New York, nation of immigrants, what have you.
But he's just trying to sort of show the different ways where you could send a message internationally, like in Munich, to say that there is a rise of authoritarianism. He just gives these illustrations to highlight the specific choice that Chuck Schumer made. And we talked about this yesterday, how during the 2016 election, and to some extent in the 2024 election, Democrats really tried to finesse their constituency in such a way that it involved, like, Republican-ish people, and not working class Republicans, suburban Republicans, more white-collar Republicans. And this has been a losing strategy for Democrats for an extended period of time, really. If you look at, Congress, if you look at states, et cetera, That strategy has
Torb.
failed.
Change the Torb.
We look at
Change the
what
Torb.
has driven Donald Trump down in the polls, and
got to counter Torborn.
A notion of like of wanting calm and whatnot is an element to it, but
need
you're
another
not
Torb.
addressing the underlying thing. This is about in Stormer's words, sort of a restoration instead of a reconstruction. But we know restoration cannot happen. Joe Biden was the restoration candidate, and he was thrown out.
And Kamala Harris ran on a semi-restoration style campaign, including talking about democracy on the ballot, which is exactly what you're saying, which is our system is under threat by Donald Trump, and don't you want to preserve the system? And you know what the voters said about the system?
System screwed us over.
They said we would prefer fascism to the system. That is how badly our so-called democracy in this country is broken, and how shut out people are from active participation in that democracy, which includes the inability for any Democratic voters to weigh in on who the 2024 nominee was going to be until Kamala Harris was kind of thrust into it last minute. It includes the Democratic Party shutting out voters from and their desire to change course on the genocide in Gaza. It's a complete, I don't know, they're trying to do it with brute force again. Same strategy, the same people they're targeting, because by the way, consultants get really rich when you micro-target wealthier suburbanites. But if you have a turnout-based operation that's involving volunteers and door knocking and people power, that is a threat to the institution and the money that's behind the Democratic Party.
Absolutely. I mean, from the consultant's perspective, when you're a hammer, everything is a nail. But in their instance, the things that are a nail are media buys, because they get their 15% big. But if you think about, there's a fine line between protect democracy and protect the established order. And when Harris went around with Liz Cheney, they would say we're protecting democracy, but they were showing we're protecting the established order. Look at here the two parties still exist, and they are still fundamentally who they were, and we have joined together to fight the insurgent.
And they have a credibility problem on the word democracy. Even so, though,
but the point is, the word democracy does not mean what they think it means to people. It just means more of whatever's been bad.
But the reason it also doesn't mean that is because they would have had to demonstrate it to show that they are democratically responsive in the 4 years prior to this election, or in the very least in the 2 years.
You mean in terms of Biden
and the genocide?
Yes.
I mean, democracy isn't just who are we making fun of? Andrew Schultz talking about the Constitution should have prevented Trump from doing all of this. Remember, he was making that argument as if the Constitution was a brick wall and not something that can be violated, and it doesn't have inherent guardrails in it. I mean, it feels like the same sort of argument here, where it's democracy as an ethic outside of any action to preserve it, really. From the Biden administration side, which included, I didn't even point to this, Merrick Garland not prosecuting the coup attempters and the anti-democratic forces within the fascist Republican Party. They didn't enforce democracy from a law enforcement perspective, and they didn't practice it internally within their own party, and they sure as hell did not practice it with the American public.
Ta-Nehisi Coates
as they committed genocide.
Ta-Nehisi Coates made the argument is, if you're not going to stand up against the genocide, how are you going to stand up against anti-democratic forces?
Well, that's more poetic than what I'm saying, but it's not even just the ethic that he's talking about here. It's quite literally it was not in their interest not to listen to the public. They don't have the money on their side in the same way the Republicans do. The Democrats cannot narrow their coalition any further, because without people power, this is where we're at. It's all consolidating on the right.
And the imagery of by just simply looking back on nostalgia of colonial Williamsburg, as opposed to taking you right to where the fight is. One is sort of like we can do this by appealing to an aesthetic and to a simpler time, and the other vision
Definitely
for
better
what
than the
your
other one.
response
Don't
to
get
the
twisted.
State of the Union could be is, here is where the fight is. This is what's happening right now, and we're going to address this, not a general aesthetic or feeling, but rather, and look, everybody says you need to tell a story. What is the story of colonial Williamsburg? It's like when it's all in the past. It is not in the moment. There is no drama. It is a bad story. The real story is there are people here fighting against masked thugs, or we are fighting against the misinformation that and the revising of history that is taking place in Philadelphia, or we are saving immigrants and building a new coalition. Like, all of these other stories are dramatic and have drama and have a protagonist and an antagonist.
Not everyone would agree that you need to have an antagonist and tell a story.
What's that?
Ezra Klein literally said that to you in your
yeah.
debate.
Oh, yes,
I mean, but that's the wing of the party that he
Oh, yes,
represents.
100%.
He said that a story doesn't have to have villains, a political story.
Right.
Which is like, I don't want to say what I mean, I don't even, that's like literally the opposite of what politics is.
I mean, to be fair to Ezra, I have a professional history in writing dramatic and comedic strips, and he did not.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't know how to the things you need to for a story.
The other things I just wanted to make sure we hit on from, because that was a really good analysis of it. The comforting purple voters thing. We showed that focus group result from the New York Times yesterday, where now whatever a purple voter is, okay, let's refer to them as independents, because that's the growing political constituency in this country. People are more frequently identifying as independent, and when you talk to them, when they hear moderate, they hear status quo. That's what the focus group said. Now, we're going to need more data on that to be completely determinative on it. But I think, you can make an assessment, and that's what we're doing. That's how it's coded, and it's continued to code in that way. And the results made it clear in 2024. They pretend that one ad about Kamala Harris, she's for they, them, I'm for you, proves that it was just the transphobia. We'll get to Gavin Newsom later in the show. But what that ad signified was she's for they, them, the status quo, not trans people, and I'm for you. They get that ad wrong, and that was proven in Virginia with Spanberger, because a year later, the Republican ran against Spanberger in that race on explicit transphobia, and Spanberger won historically in Virginia against that Republican. So it wasn't about being too woke. It was about the status quo element and leaning into the strategy that's losing. And the other thing about Spanberger that's so annoying about her being selected, beyond it being 2 CIA people in a row, let's go for 3 in a row next year, is the fact that they are trying to brute force her victory into as significant as something as Zohran Mamdani's, when her situation could not have been more perfect. One, they ran on the idiotic transphobic strategy that I just laid out. The data would tell you that won Trump the election. It's not what happened. Two, there were a bunch of federal workers fired in her state by Trump himself that were extremely motivated to vote against him. And 3, Zohran's election was a tide that lifted all boats across the country, and they don't want to acknowledge
the
that.
affordability.
Exactly. They stole that from him, and then they pretend like, oh, there's enthusiasm for these moderate CIA people in the same way. Across the river in Union City, you saw this huge turnaround with young voters in New Jersey voting for a progressive in that city. I don't think that was because people were just as enthusiastic about every single Democrat. That's people who live in Jersey, just miles away from the city, saying let me check in. I'm inspired by this guy and his campaign in Manhattan and New York City. I'm gonna look into my local candidate. And I think that happened across the country. So.
Yep.
long rant, but you know.
But that's just a preview. Maybe it'll be very different. Maybe Spanberger will secretly go to, instead of evoking a mythical founding town.
Oh my God! Yes.
And a time that was better. Not the time, of course, when there were slaves. When George Washington had to keep George Washington, to maintain his slaves, had to leave the state for a certain period of time, had to re-up the visa, because I think you could only own slaves for a certain period of time. I can't remember exactly the story.
It's like living in Florida for 6 months in a day.
Exactly.
But with slaves.
Exactly. Forget about that part. And it's not about the tricolor hats, cornered hats. It's really about just the feeling of we could go back to that with electricity. But tonight we'll be watching that, and I should be.
Okay, guys, I gotta go. I'm done.
I
gotta sleep.
I'm going to be streaming.
Getting ready for bed.
Okay.
Presumably,
Maybe I'll join you.
Presumably at home. I have to figure out
if we can.
If I know how to do that.
I'll be busy churning butter out of nostalgia.
Maybe we can get
guys,
on Zoom
I'll see you
together, but
tomorrow.
I don't know.